Oh, I don't think I have the sleep stream in me. I would do it. I would do it, but I'm running on fumes at this point. I feel like Perry. We're gonna wrap up. But thanks everybody. Thanks. I'm Perry. Perry. Just to say as a final statement.
What?
I might have been a little hard on you tonight in parts, but it was only because you were lumpy and I was trying to get a good performance out of you, and you finally rallied. But don't forget to send me those DRPs tomorrow. Are you gonna pleasure yourself? Oh, thanks, King. I'm glad you thought so. Thanks, everybody, for coming by and all that good stuff. And yeah, great job on the media shares. They were all so really strong tonight. Really strong. Really great stuff. Thanks. You guys are the best community. I don't know. I say the best community out there. I don't know other communities because I'm only in this one. You know, maybe some other streamer has a great community too. But I think we're the best. Ten and a half hours. Though we did run, it's more like 10 hours. I haven't done a 10-hour stream in a long time. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Thanks, everybody. Oh, don't guilt trip me. That's some Tom B level manipulation right there. Make us excited to sleep stream and then you back out. What a bitch. Oh, that's something I would say. Don't use my own tactics against me. Thanks for the stream. Now sleep for 4 hours. And oh, good luck on your finals. Is it final time already? Shit, I guess it is. Yeah, like mid-November. God damn. Well, good luck on your finals. No, I don't think Perry's going right to sleep either. Maybe he is. Oh, okay, hold on. Yeah, all right, hold on. Oh, look at this shit. All right, okay. There you go. There's your sleep stream. It's got the camera panned a little weird. I'll fix this. All right, not too long though. Just a little tiny sleep stream. All right. Damn. Look at this. Look at this Tom B. I mean, I thought I was a manipulator. God damn, you guys are fine. He said he was taking a shower after his peed himself. He just sleeps in his pants. He messed up the camera in here, so it's like right up against the thing. I gotta see if we can tilt it over a little, get that way. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. I can remote control it. Yeah, he's just sleeping in his diaper. Hold on, I gotta do something real quick, and then I'll come back to Sleeping Beauty. I gotta turn off this thing here. I actually feel bad. Like, he must be really tired. I'm tired. It's like, I bust Perry's balls, but he does put a lot into it sometimes. I just gotta close this out. Sorry, there's a lot of little things I gotta do. Let's see if I move that chat box over. Okay, we're not staying too long. Don't get comfortable. There we go. That's better, right? There we go. You think he's asleep yet? That costs money, Exodus Gamer. That'll cost you 25. Or is it 50? I forget. I don't remember. I'll say 25. I'm not giving that away for free. Not for free. No. It's a premium feature. Not insects. It's like a weird thing that the night vision picks up. It's not actually anything. You know. Oh, sorry. Let me check something real quick. If you send in like a super tip, preferably not super chat because that takes out a huge thing. But if you like a super tip, will do it. Or if you, I see. I was gonna say Venmo or something Perry, but I have no way of verifying it. That's a good question. I don't know. See something real quick. Okay, I got everything loaded here. Okay. Well, Frank Drebin did send in. It is the lowest form of thing. But okay, we get $5 more. That's going to be an alarm. So. Still can't get over how great the members only stream was. Yeah, I thought it was really good too. If you guys are missing the members streams, and I'm not just saying this, I think you know me well enough. I'm not going to completely bullshit and blow smoke. I'm not going to say something was great when it wasn't. Okay, there's plenty of things, plenty of streams that we've done that aren't so great. Member streams are really great. So, you know, if you have a membership on YouTube, Patreon membership, it pays for itself because then you get the free super chat or the free tip comment on Patreon, and then you know it literally does. But I think Perry's a little different on the member streams, and I really like doing the deep dives, and this one was great because he was kind of a lump of you know what starting out, and then he was a whatever. All right. Okay. Well, looks like our alarm phone was fun. And thank you. That's extra. Thank you, Rusty. What am I thanking you for? It goes to Perry, but that covers the thing. Oh, thank you, T-Bone. Okay, again, super chats, lowest form of donations here at PCL. And I only say that because YouTube takes out such a whopping portion, but I know it's the easiest. And thank you. Yes, we'll do an alarm. Okay, guaranteed an alarm. All right, and actually, we can actually maybe get to it. All right, so we'll see, but you're guaranteed one. Yeah. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Member streams feel more interactive and involved than the regular streams. Yeah, I agree with that. They do. It's more, you know, obviously we do phone calls sometimes. And by the way, the phone calls were great this past one. And yeah, I think, you know what, I don't feel as pressured to get them, you know, to move things along as fast or as quickly, you know? So I feel like they have more room to breathe. You know, it just goes at its own pace. So yeah, I feel that way too. I feel like it's just kind of like it feels like a hangout more than a stream, if that makes any sense. And even though we usually take some time off in Jan, there's 2 months out of the year we take some significant time off. Everybody needs that. You gotta avoid burnout, no matter what you do. Okay, so we take off a lot in January, most of January, but we'll definitely do. So you're gonna want to be a member or a Patreon for January to get you through that icy month with no Perry. Because we'll definitely do a member stream or 2 in January, but at least 1. Is there a way you could program the alarm to sound the sound of his car alarm? No. I don't know what his car alarm sounds like. I'd have to get the sound, and then I could probably load it in. What's my favorite hockey team? I'm not a hockey fan. I have most of my friends are Rangers fans, so I guess I'll be happy if the Rangers win, but I don't really care. I'm not a hockey. I kind of wish I was. If there was a second sport that I would be into, it would be hockey. I like the culture of hockey. I like the everything about watching it. I'm not into basketball. I hate football. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a baseball guy, and then once baseball's over, I kind of like a break from sports. I don't worry about sports until April, and even then, I don't really worry about it because it's a slow, getting back into it. But I'm not the biggest thing. I'm trying to multitask here. His sound. He's gonna probably unplug it when he hears the alarm. Do I have his mic on? Yeah, I do. Audience gets burnt out too. Yeah, I think so too. Sometimes there's too much. Sometimes it's too much, and it's like enough. Sometimes you need a break. I think after New Year's Eve, we'll do a New Year's Eve stream. I don't think we'll do a big party around New Year's Eve. I kind of almost want it to be just Perry, maybe making phone calls like we did originally. But after that, I think everyone's ready for a little Perry break, and we'll still do premieres and things like that. Like premiere older streams on YouTube that haven't been on YouTube. And then sometime in January, and by the way, us taking time off, aside from Perry, of course, but myself, Jim, Garrett, we all have real jobs. So we're still working in January. It's just that we don't have PCL on top of it. I have a very light schedule, thankfully, this week, which is why we're on so, Jesus, if I had to do my normal Tuesday, I'd be screwed tomorrow. But I have a very light Tuesday, light week in general, thankfully, from real work, not PCL. And I don't know what my schedule is yet on Wednesday, but if it's a certain way, we can maybe squeeze in a Weather Matters. If not, we'll do it another time. When's the next Tom B week? I don't know. All the Tom B weeks have been just based around I needed to be out in LA for some reason or another. The first one was because Perry was doing Smiling Friends, and I really needed to be out there for that, or I wanted to be out there for that, and we based Tom B week around that little thing. The second one was when we were all there, myself, Garrett, Jim, and that was fun. We kind of used that as his excuse to get together. And then the third one, I was out there for work, and I did that. So we'll do it. I don't want to. If I did one, I'd want it to be light. I wouldn't want the pressure of doing topping previous Tom B weeks, because I don't think there is any topping them. I think they were of their time. And there's certain things with PCL where you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Like, it was done one time. Like, I don't think you could do the zebra at the door again. Maybe you can. Maybe you got to catch Perry at the right moment, of course. Like, you can play a comment for Perry on one stream and then replay the same comment on another one. You get two completely different reactions. But there's just certain things that I don't think you can recapture. So I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, you know, I'll have to be out there again at some point. I just don't have any plans for it right now. My schedule, my work schedule, my real work schedule has been insane. So it's been very hard to plan anything else around that. And you know, there's times, especially over the past few months, that I've been really close to burnout because you know I can't you can't do both things equally. At least, you know, I speak for myself, of course. You can't do I can't do, like, I would never be able to do PCL every day of the week. Like, that would be insane. You know, maybe if it was like limited to an hour or two, but I don't think that, you know, I don't think that could ever happen. There is something about it. It's soothing because we all see how Perry. It's hard to. It's interesting to see Perry, the lunatic that he is, in a moment of peace. Like, what are Perry's dreams like? Are Perry's dreams as crazy as he is? Like, what does Perry dream about? Perry looks like the saxophone player from the Muppets Electric Man. I can kind of see that a little bit. I see that a little bit. Morangi, who's very, very solid media share contributor, by the way, former winner. I'm almost glad I didn't submit a video tonight. Trying to win the video of the week is really something I shoot for, and I was sick as a dog yesterday. Oh, hope you're feeling better. I was working on, wouldn't have helped. Well, tight competition tonight for sure. You know, it was his birthday and everything. And again, I don't know if I mentioned it, but Dio Brando had a great birthday video, but it was a redemption, so it didn't count. But but that was really really good, really solid. All right, we're getting very close to hitting the alarm, and then we're all going to go to sleep. Now, I'm going to leave this up on YouTube. It'll probably be annihilated by copyright because of Enya. If that happens, worry not. It'll be fixed tomorrow. It's going to take a while because I got to edit it and then process it, and then it's got to re-upload. And with a stream this long, you know, 10 and a half hours, it's going to take some time. It's definitely going to take some time going up on Patreon. So that's just the way it's going to be. But man, maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it'll. I don't know, but I have a feeling that that's going to get zapped. But like I said, it'll still be up on X. You go to Perry's profile on X, you'll be able to watch the stream. So I'm going to keep that up for a couple of days, so people can catch up on it. Tom B, if you boxed up Perry and took up the Pawn Stars, how much would I ask for? Honestly, I'd shoot for the stars. I'd want $250,000 because you could probably make Perry into a more motivated star if you had, you know, if like I didn't have a real job. And all I did was Perry stuff. I feel like Perry could be, I don't know. It's hard to conquer his laziness. That's the problem. But again, the beauty of Perry is like that comment that I played earlier. I don't know how many people are watching this right now that were here for the whole stream, but earlier in the stream I played this comment, and it was really a interesting way to sum up Perry. I thought I thought it really captured Perry perfectly. I'll see if I can put it up again before I hit the alarm. I think this is it. No, that's not it. This is it. No, that's not it either. Hold on. Okay, this is it. I don't know if this is going to show up here because it's like when I went. This was like a comment that really stood out to me. And it just, very Perry. So it is, Perry's the funniest person on the planet when he's not trying to be, and the least funny when he's trying. It's a miracle, and it really is true. Perry has no no idea what makes him interesting, what makes him entertaining, like why he'd be hired to do an acting part. He thinks it's for his like acting prowess or something, and it's not. It's because he's himself. He's crazy, and he's one of a kind. And we all get frustrated with him, and we all could say he's ungrateful, and he's all these things. Of course, I definitely get frustrated with him and things, but the biggest mistake you could do is imbue human qualities onto Perry. He's not like us. He's not going to react like us. Of course he's not going to be grateful. He's not going to say thank you when you want him to. Of course not. But that's kind of why you're fascinated with him. So it's weird when people get upset with him for the very reason they're watching in the first place, because he's abnormal. He's not like everybody else. Whether you call him crazy or eccentric or just quirky, he's different and he's interesting and he's fascinating. So, I think most people know that. Certainly you guys do. The people that are watching at this hour, you guys do. But it's always interesting that like sometimes we get messages on like Patreon like, I'm done supporting this guy. He's just the most ungrateful piece of ass. And okay, I get it. I'm not going to convince you that he's this saint. But isn't that kind of the reason why you're watching him? Perry. He tried to scam this. Yes, of course, that's what he is. He's a scammer. Like it's like the frog and the scorpion thing. You can't blame the scorpion for being a scorpion. Perry's a scorpion. Perry's gonna parry. And once in a while you do get different qualities in him, but he's fascinating. At least I think so. I mean, and I think people want different things out of Perry. And people want different things out of PCL, out of the stream. And when they don't get it, they get upset. Oh, I only like it when Perry screams and yells. Oh, I like it when Perry's happy. Oh, I hate it when Perry's happy. You know what I mean? You can't please everybody all of the time. But hopefully in a long stream, you get a little bit of everything, and that's kind of the way it is. But Perry's never going to change. It'll just be a copyright claim. Well, we did a test on that parody, Alex, and it was blocked in all territories. So we'll see. It may be because it's such a long stream that the AI copyright robots don't get to everything. We'll see. But yeah, copyright claims happen all the time. But it'll just be like, it's not a copyright strike. It's just they block it unless you edit it or something like that. So I might have to edit it. I don't know. But I'm certainly not going to stay up tonight and edit it. Or this morning, I should say. It's almost 6 a.m. here. I do got to go. Yeah, by the way, and this is not to say that the Enya song was fucking great. Okay, and kudos to second SAG voucher for that. No problem with it whatsoever. That's how we roll. We will deal with the copyrights when they come. I'm gonna hit the alarm, and then he'll react one of two ways. He'll either just be too lazy to get up and be like, stop, go away, or he'll be so mad that he gets up and rips it out. I watched PCL since 2021 and never realized why Perry screams and acts the way he does. Recently, I realized he is a grown-up with a toddler brain, a spoiled toddler. Yes, that's a good way of putting him. Yes. Toddler brain. Absolutely. Tommy, you're a trooper. All props to you. I worked for 13 hours and you're still going. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if you count PCL plus my work day, it's been a long day. So. Oh, ground round's another one I haven't thought of. Yeah, are they making a comeback? I was never big on ground round. My sister worked at a ground round, and we'd go sometimes on Sundays to just kind of embarrass her. Perry's like an alien. You can't hold him to human morals. He's just discovering our world. That's a great way to put it too. Yeah. don't get mad at him. Like, sometimes you see comments like, "Oh, he's so ungrateful now. He's this and that." He's who he is. This is why you watch him. He's not normal. He doesn't have normal sensibilities. And I'm the most guilty of this, by the way, because I get annoyed where he's not this or that, because I'm just trying to sit here, trying to direct the stream, trying to produce it, whatever. So I'll get hot with him sometimes. And tonight it was just to get a reaction out of him. It was just to kind of, say this or that. I say, "Oh, you're gonna get evicted if you turn off the electricity." I invented I sent him I sent him this email, like, I don't know, a couple of months ago, from his apartment management, saying that all his electric is tied to the building, and when he did that, it affected other tenants, and if he did it again, he'd be evicted. But it's not, obviously it's not true. It's like when I say he's being fined by the FCC. It's not true, but maybe he'll watch it a little bit. I don't know. But that's actually worked, because I think the electric would have been turned off about 25 times in the past month alone, maybe 6 times tonight alone, if it wasn't for that threat. And I just did it just because, not that sometimes it's funny when he turns off the power, but it's such a pain in the ass for me, because I got to get him reconnected. He can mess up the computer. Our system goes a little haywire when he does that. I don't know why, because our system isn't tied to his connection, but it just does. But anyway, that was my. He had done it one too many times, and I was like, what? I need some threat that's not me. So I've realized over the years of doing this that me threatening him with, like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this or that," is not good enough. He needs outside threats, like the apartment management's gonna do this or that if you do this, and it's worked. For now. Perry's dreaming of the bake. Yes, he's dreaming of the muffins and the croissants and the pies, the cakes and the cookies. I love the whole bake-off thing. And I don't know who originally, it was just like one tip comment that came in. And I don't know who that was. Kudos to whoever you are, because you just created this whole thing. And I think we just got to, I'm not planning a stream to do on the 12th, because there's just no winning with that. Because people were so disappointed with the chili cook-off. Some people liked it. But we actually did a stream built around it. But, there's no way to pay that off, the build-up to it. And I think most people realize this. But the whole thing with, like, whether it's the chili cook-off or the bake-off or whatever the next thing is, it's not the actual event. It's the build-up to the event and how crazy he gets at the idea of it. So it's not about the actual bake-off. It's like right now and how crazy he gets with the bake-off. That's all it is. So there's never going to be a actual event that pays off all that buildup. Of course not, because you're getting the entertainment value out of his reaction to it. So there's no real thing. So I think what has to happen is we'll probably have to reschedule the bake-off. We'll do our show the night before, build up to it, and then we'll probably just have to postpone it or say, hey, you know what? People's flights were delayed, and just to make it easier, we're going to push it off to Valentine's Day, and then just move the post a little bit, move it to Valentine's Day. And then I thought that a good Valentine's Day thing would be, and you guys are really in control of this. I'm just spitballing. It's you guys that drive the content and the creative people out there. That, and I'll go on board with whatever. So nothing I say is gospel. This is just spitballing. But I thought maybe a Valentine's Day bake-off, chocolate treats, and matchmaking get together, where Perry could dress as Cupid. We could have singles come in and do a little speed dating and hopefully find love when you come to Perry's, as well as baked goods, as well as nice candies and stuff. But yeah, so maybe we'll figure out why the bake-off couldn't happen on 12/12, and there could be various reasons for that. And then we just move off to the next thing. I do think it's great to have Perry. And again, it's like him going to the car for 3 times in one stream. Like how many events do we have to have for him to say like, oh, come on, you guys are putting me on, you know? So anyway, that's just an idea. Because we're not gonna, like, we're not streaming on 12/12. There's no, I don't want to do that again. Oh, thanks, Frank. Yeah, I mean, and again, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the fun is in the build-up, and the longer you have the build-up, the better it is. I love when he turns off the power, but I feel bad. You know, I don't mind it once in a while. I'll kind of almost laugh, but there's so many hoops I got to jump through. I got to get his, I got to hope his computer boots up normally, and then I got to get him back on, and I connect to him, via like a video, like a Discord video actually, and it's such a pain in the ass. I got to remote into his thing, and anyway. It's a little easier with the Ring cameras because sometimes I can just go right to a Ring camera, but I have to wait until even they connect and turn back on and the Wi-Fi's back up and all that. So it's just a pain in the ass. And it also gives the stream cinematic edge of the seat reality. Holy shit, were you watching when he actually gets mad enough to completely stop listening to you? Well, that's all the time. I get a little nervous when he gets so crazy where he's like, you could see it in his face. He's like out of his mind, and he's like, ready to burst, ready to blow, where he's so overtired. That's when he pulls his pants down, that kind of stuff. Which, by the way, has never gotten us in trouble for some reason. But that's when, especially when he doesn't have a diaper on. Because when he has the diaper on, that's like a layer of protection. He can't show anything. But tonight, he had mentioned that he didn't have a diaper on. And I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, like that's why he does it. He's so delirious and crazy that he thinks that that's his way out. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I kind of have my finger on the trigger at this point. Like my finger's right on the cut to the end screen when he's getting ready to go. So that's always an issue. I gotta reset this now. But yeah. So once in a while I get a little nervous. And sometimes he says stupid stuff. And there's really nothing he can say that's like gonna, I can't think of anything he could say. Like I tried to get on him for saying "sea sucker" only because YouTube hates that word. They hate the "see you next Tuesday" word and that word. They really go after because they consider it sexual content. And you can get your video age restricted, which is fine. I mean the streams don't really matter that much, to be honest with you, as far as they don't make any money because the language is so bad. There's very rarely monetization there, but it's hard when it gets age restricted because that means new people don't really see it. But anyway, I think the clips have kind of taken over that as like a gateway into it, and that's why the clips are censored a little bit, just so we get further in the algorithm. But you can't win with any of these companies. What's fun of the stuff? He's not muttering right now that I can hear. Like I said earlier, he was muttering. One of the times we were on the sleep stream, he was calling Amy a bitch under his breath. He's like, "That fucking bitch," and then he did mutter something about Gina, I believe Gina Carano, back before she was public enemy #1. Yeah, exactly. Streams are finicky enough to start midway, and the way we said, I don't know anybody else. I don't know any other stream out there that does it the way we do, where as me, the co-host director, I'm running it from my computer and porting the host in. Normally, the host is running it. I mean, can you imagine if Perry was running it on his end? I mean, the fucking thing would go dead. And in the early days, that's what it was. And if Perry restarted his computer, the stream would end and it would go down. So I'm very proud of our setup. But it's complicated. Like, it's like, we got to do a lot of checks, and sometimes it resets itself, and we got to so I usually, Mondays are tough because I have because I work, and then my transition today was easier. Like, I was done regular work by 5, so I had a good 2 hours plus to transition into PCL. But sometimes it's a tight window for me, and I don't have time to do our little spot checks to be like, all right, let me check the sound, let me check that. Sometimes I just go, right, okay, hopefully the settings from the last stream will be good enough, and let's just start. And then sometimes they're all fucked. And then the worst thing ever for anybody is when you're troubleshooting tech stuff live. It's really stressful for the broadcaster, and it's really annoying for the viewer. So I really try not to do that, but sometimes it's unavoidable. I'm luckily it hasn't happened in a while, but once in a while it does, and it's really annoying. I hear Kick is much easier. Yeah, it is, but Kick is not this kind of stream, and Kick is like Twitch. It's a copy. It's a carbon copy of Twitch. It's a better version of Twitch, but they don't archive the videos on there or anything like that, and it's just for live streams. That's it. But yeah, it is. But most people watch on YouTube, and I've said this before. Why YouTube is the go-to thing for everybody is YouTube is on every device. You buy a phone, YouTube's on it. You get a Roku, YouTube's on it. Amazon TV, YouTube's on it. Apple TV, YouTube. Okay, any TV you buy that has built-in apps, YouTube's there. Okay, you got to go out of your way to download Kick or Rumble or even Twitch, unless it's on an Amazon device because they own Twitch. But people want easy. It's why people send in super chats, even though it's the worst thing for Perry because YouTube takes out 30% and there's taxes on top of that. But you got to take an extra step to go to Super Tip or Streamlabs. YouTube's right there. You're on your phone. You can send in a thing. I get it. I've done it. So that's why YouTube is king and will always be king, unless something happens. Where, I don't know, somebody else takes over. But I haven't seen any indication that needle's moving. But some people do very well on Kick. Like, some people are exclusive to Kick. They do very well. I'm sure PCL would do well if it was exclusive to one. But, I like streaming to different places. Because some people like their things. There's some dedicated Kick viewers that we have. They're few, but they're strong. There's some people that only like watching on Twitch. And there's some people that obviously like watching on YouTube. But I hate the TV YouTube. I'm stuck on it. It's bad. It depends on what you're watching it on. I notice YouTube is best on an Apple TV set-top device. I used to have, I still do, have Roku, and I didn't like YouTube on that. But the YouTube app on the Apple TV is good. And even if you're not a big Apple person, that was actually the gateway into my using Apple anything, was the Apple TV. Because there was just no advertisements. I didn't feel like I was bombarded with shitty ads or anything like that. And it's a solid streamer for different apps and stuff. Maybe he is. Maybe he's robbing 3 hookers right now in his sleep. Maybe that's what he's dreaming of. I think he's asleep. I bet it's a whole chore just getting him to start the stream. I'm sure he starts his neck. No, he doesn't. Honestly, when we're off the air, like I'm talking like 15 minutes before 4 p.m. Pacific, he's ready to go. He's like all set. He's got his diaper on. He's all... And you have a little. I sometimes talk to him about like what he should talk about, what he should start off, like what he did over the weekend, whatever it is. And and then I'll do his test. He's great. It's only when we're live and he starts getting if you notice, he doesn't start belching or get his agita, quote unquote, until the first couple of comments come in that he doesn't like. So no, he's a dream. He's fine when we start out. He doesn't bitch at all. Why doesn't Perry use some of his stream money to go to a sleep? He did do a sleep test. He did one over the summer. I think it's on Patreon. I think some of it is on Patreon. He did actually go to a sleep test. Your sound design here has been 100 hours every time. Thank you. Your sound design here has been 100%. Yeah, it's not always perfect, but as far as the sound quality goes, but I hear other sometimes once in a while. I don't watch other live streams. I really don't. I just don't. I've actually really unplugged myself outside of doing this, and my real job doesn't require too much online activity. Like over the weekends especially, I try to get the hell away from online. I don't like sitting in front of a computer if I don't have to. So I'm really very disassociated with other streams, but I do, sometimes it comes up in YouTube and I'll do watch others and they sound like shit. Or like the balance is all off. Like the gas in one person's way louder than another person, so I try to be. I don't like using headphones. I don't use headphones, so sometimes there's a little. I don't like Perry using headphones, so sometimes there's a little tiny fraction of echo. But I think all these apps are really good at like silencing echoes to the point where it's bearable without having to. Because I hate hearing my own voice in headphones, and I say this as a voiceover person because I've done voiceover work, and when you record in a studio, you kind of have to like have headphones on and you're listening to your own voice as you're talking. I've never gotten past that distraction. I always kind of have to have the engineer turn the volume down as low as possible, because I just don't like listening to myself live I just find it distracting. And I give Perry credit because Perry's on a slight delay, because the screen that he sees is my shared screen shared back to him. He's not looking, as if he was looking at his direct feed, he wouldn't see any of the comments or anything like that. So there is a slight, it's very good as far as the, what do you call it? The delay. It's like microseconds, but he is on a slight delay. I notice it when I'm at his place, and if we're doing it a certain way, he does handle it very well. For somebody who's, sitting in front of the computer and like his mouth isn't exactly moving to what he's saying at the time, if that makes sense. He's on a slight, ever so slight delay, and he's pretty good with it. And sometimes I'll be harsh on him, and I'll say, "Hey, today, get." I realize, oh, he's on a little delay. I got to be a little easier. My main monitor is 50-inch 4K TV. Yeah. So by the way, some people ask like, "Oh, can PCL broadcast in 4K?" Well, we could, but it wouldn't make any difference because of the way we do it. I've tried. I've tried a bunch doing it like 1080p. It doesn't make any difference at all. It makes it harder because then the file size are bigger when you record it, and then if I have to edit it and it has to encode and process, it takes so much longer. It takes twice as long for 1080p, and then 3 times as long for 4K. So the 720 is very manageable for us, and I think it still looks fine. Is it 11 hours? Well, yep, it's 11 hours. It'll be 11 hours in about 10 minutes because we did a good 20 minutes plus of intro. So, I mean, do you guys watch other streams? Like, that people, I know there's people that, like, watch, it has to be people that watch other streams. Are we going to do another PCL auction? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's a great time to do it right now. Maybe in January. I don't know. It would kind of be a weird time to do it right before the holidays. You know, it's not. But yeah, Perry has some paintings and stuff to get. He has a lot of stuff that I remember setting aside for him for the next round of auction stuff. Yeah, of course, I'd like to get his snowboard in there as well. But yeah, at some point. Talk to Gavin at all about a role reprisal. You know, he's so concerned about that, but I always said to him, I was like, Harry, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, yeah, if he was ever in town or whatever, he could do a William Randolph III. Although, you know, it's a very big three thing. I don't know, but he's known him as like so many different characters at this point. It doesn't even matter. Do we know if RC's POV in the 1992 story differs from what? Yeah, apparently, according to him, it does. I've mentioned this before. According to RC, he has a very different version of the story, which I will get at some point, and we will make that connection. Does Perry sleep like a human? No, he sleeps like this. He sleeps on top of the blanket in full clothing. Little things like that is why he's so funny. Right, yeah. No, if he was like tucked under the covers, that would be so adorable. Oh, that's interesting. Sometimes I listen to PCL at work, and it's usually audio only for me. Sometimes Perry's dead air makes me think the stream stopped. That's interesting. I often think about, I mean, honestly, if I was to absorb PCL, I would have to do the audio only, because who can sit there and watch fucking 11 hours? But obviously some people can. Yeah. PCL is one of the only streams I watch. Well, thank you. I only watch gaming or political or art streams. I watch some, you know, once in a blue moon, I'll watch somebody trying to do like a game. But for me, it's like old school gaming or something. Like if somebody's doing like, I'm gonna get all 120 stars on like Mario 64. I'll kind of sometimes zone out to that a little bit. I gotta be in the right kind of mood. I watch other stream that is kind of similar to this, and that viewers F with the streamer Copper Cab. I only know Copper Cab from, I think Gavin knows that guy, but I don't know it directly. Speaking of Gavin, I discovered PCL because of Gavin. Yeah, a lot of people came to PCL because of Gavin. Gavin's a great, he was at one point a great, I don't know if advocate's the right word, but he knew how to sell it. You know who I watch? I'll tell you who I watch. He doesn't have many viewers at this point. I watch him once in a while. He's on, and he's just starting to stream. And you'll know his name when I say it. He's a gamer. He's one of the most notorious gamers anywhere, arcade gamer. Billy Mitchell, who was he's the champion of Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, and he was in the movie King of Kong, and he's just getting on like YouTube now, and sometimes he gets like 50 viewers or something like that, but he plays Donkey Kong like live, and you could see him play live, and obviously he's amazing at it, and then he'll answer like questions and stuff like that. I find him very interesting, especially after this. Like, I don't know how people are in the rabbit hole with Billy Mitchell, but he had this huge lawsuit against this guy Carl Jobst, I think his name is, who was this Australian guy that makes videos about speed runs, but went heavy after Billy Mitchell, and there was a lawsuit because he claimed that Billy Mitchell was responsible for this other guy, this other YouTuber who took their life. That Billy was somehow responsible. Anyway, Billy's extremely litigious and proud of it, and went after this guy, and has been doing this like victory tour, and it's kind of fascinating on X, particularly, and just to see. And the guy Carl, I actually like his videos too, but he is very arrogant. And got his ass handed to him by Billy. Like there was like, I forget what the judgment was, but it's insane. Funniest streamers where Perry opened the road flare. I said recently that was funny. It's funny in retrospect, but at the time, at the time it didn't seem very funny. Any new characters in development? I think they always happen just kind of organically. I know Sam from Twitch wants to do a new character. He's going to be in town soon, but the stars have to align. Billy is a champ. Yeah, oh, and by the way, I bought Billy's hot sauce, which he has a hot sauce called Ricky's, based on the restaurant that his dad did. And I got the habanero hot sauce. Honestly, up there with the best hot sauce I've ever had, because I'm very picky on hot sauce. Not too hot, not too, it's got the nice thing. Wow, look at this, Lou Lewis. God damn, $99. Wow, thank you. At 6:10 a.m. East Coast time. I've been watching a lot of sumo streams on Twitch, Tom B. It's the November tournament. Despite being fat, these dudes have muscles. Not all Japanese either. Some are Mongolian. They Ukrainian and Russian, also Chinese. So Perry's gonna be very happy with that, Lewis. Thank you so much for your generosity. That is outstanding. I know that's the other thing. I see these other streamers too, and they get like left and right like $100 donations or something. Wow, that must be nice. But thank you. That's really, really, really generous of you. I've never seen sumo streams, but that sounds like something interesting. Once in a while, I watch a stream if like, and it just happens to pop up for me, like somebody just walking around their city, like wherever it is. It could be Chicago or Vegas. Those are interesting. Okay, I owe people 2 alarms. I'll try to get 1 in. Fake champion Billy is I'm not. You better be careful, Alex. He can sue you for that. I like Billy's bravado. He commits to his character whatever that is. And I've enjoyed the little live streams that I've seen. It's not something you'd ever watch like after the fact. It's like you'd want to watch him play Pac-Man live, and not Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and it's good. I suck at Donkey Kong, but watching him, like especially on like the Hammers level, whatever, he's really. It's really interesting. Yeah, we'll get to it. Don't worry. We are you in a rush to go home? Church? Rush to go to bed? Yeah, very litigious, and he's proud of it. Like he makes no bones about it. He's proud. He actually did an appearance near me last month. He was appearing in this like, I don't know, some game place in like a mall, and it was like, I don't know, it was like a Saturday. I think one of the days Perry was doing Levyverse, and then he was doing something. I was like, I kind of wanted to go. I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool to meet Billy Mitchell. And I just didn't motivate myself to go. And then it was one of those things where I like regretted it later. I was like, oh man, you just get a picture with Billy Mitchell. That would have been, And I was like, there'll be another time. Yeah, I like a song. I'm really big into the celebrities that are dead that Perry doesn't know are dead. That's my new thing. So I want to build. They're not accepting any new voices right now. The super tip system. They're not. So they're implementing a system where you can create your own, which is way easier for me because then I don't have to send them to somebody else. But they're working on it. They're not accepting any new ones right now. So yeah, I like to do Sean Connery. I'd like to do Richard Simmons. There's a number of them. but they're not. Yeah, I think they're stretched very thin on that whole system. It's almost over 6 days left, and well, it's in Japan, so it won't be possible in your time zone. So it's 9 hours between a stream for the sumos. Gingers do have souls, Kyra. Not this one. Speaking as a ginger. Bill says, I don't know why I find it so fascinating how Perry takes everything at face value. Yeah, I'm on the same page. He takes everything at face value, literally, yes. He can't grasp sarcasm or hypotheticals. Although we've tried our hardest, yes, maybe a lack of imagination and why he copies everything from us. I think it's a combination of things. I think it is a lack of imagination. I also think it's laziness. And I also do think it's a part of his head injury, why he sees things very static and cannot think outside of the box, only knows, and then there's certain things he trusts and then other things he doesn't. If we give him advice or if I give him advice, it's I'm an asshole or I'm an idiot, don't know what I'm talking about. I agree with this. Billy knows the game, plays the heel perfectly. He's not a baby face. Perry desperately wants to be a baby face, but he's heel. 100%, absolutely. Billy plays the heel like he had a discount code, who still has a discount code to buy his hot sauce, like Carl Lost, just rubbing it in that guy's face that he basically wrecked him. There's no recovering from it either. Like, I know that guy Carl has put out videos and stuff and tried to give his side of things. It's over, bro. It's sorry, you body slammed by and honestly, there was a lot of when you talk about the Billy Mitchell thing, going back to King of Kong, like people like, oh, Billy's full of shit, Billy's this or that, and that guy Carl was always making Billy Mitchell videos. Oh, here's why Billy's full of shit, but you know what? Billy defended himself pretty well, answered a lot of the claims against him, and won in a court of law. So he turned it around, where I think a lot of people that didn't like Billy now, like, hey, listen, we got to hail to the king. The guy is unbelievable. So, yeah. Billy enjoys suing people more than Perry, and the difference between him and Perry is he's good at it. He's good at it. I don't think he has to go to, Arby's to get his attorney some lunch. I think he's good. Danny's got to get going. We all had fun. Yeah, we're gonna get going too. Don't worry, we're gonna get going too. Perry knows that Tony Soprano's dead. That'd be a hard one to turn around from. Because then it blows it. Yeah, maybe Knoxville. That would be low on my list. And Jimmy Kimmel, a little too famous, and I guarantee you I'd hear from Jimmy Kimmel if we did that. Because you know what, it's funny to a point, and then you're gonna start hearing how Jimmy likes to suck dick and all that. I'm saying that as the voice, as somebody making him say that. It's why I don't have Mole on there. I'm sure people would like Mole, but I have too much respect for Mole to hand him over to people that would make him say things that Mole would never say. So there is a thing. Like I had a Norm voice, Norm Macdonald, ready. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't great. But I was going to do it, and I was like, I love Norm so much. Like, life is all the worse by not having Norm in it. And I don't really want to hear Norm wanting to, suck Perry's, so I said no to that. But then, to be fair, though, there's other voices that have never really gone that route. Like Tony Alva doesn't really go there. Once in a blue moon, maybe, but it kind of goes over Perry's head. I like Tony Alva a lot because the people that utilize Tony Alva are like, hey, dude, what the F? And, the cheapskate Tony Alva, where he's got like Tony's tips for how to get a free meal or something like that. I think that's really creative and funny. Do you think we'll get into Florida? Absolutely, to visit. Absolutely, to visit. To live, no. But to visit, yes. I got a AI voice for Divine ready for a video. I just didn't think it was funny. I wanted to strike while the iron was hot. Yeah, he's not going to know Divine. But I think like that kind of like husky voice, almost like a Nicole Bass type thing could be interesting. This is a good point. Javahos are very literal Jehovah's Witnesses. That's why Perry and Mom liked them. I was born in and left. Very little. Good for you. Good for you for leaving. I'm sure that wasn't easy. Good for you. I've heard from a lot of people actually who grew up in it over the time of doing PCL, and they have left, and they love that Perry left, and a lot of interesting stories because it's hard when your parents, when you're born into it. It's easy for us to look at it like, oh, it's a cult, it's so stupid, but imagine being born into it, and that's all you know, and then to have the wherewithal to get out of it. I mean, God, I give that so much credit. I wish we could have a Trump AI voice, but I bet that would. It's not just that. First of all, Super Tip doesn't allow any the AI engine that doesn't allow any political voices whatsoever. So you couldn't do anybody. You couldn't do Trump. You couldn't do Bernie Sanders. You couldn't do Obama, Clinton, Reagan. You name it. So I like it better when Trump's just some voices are just better TTS. Like I think Dan Dizak would be terrible on The Voice because. It's just I like it when the TTS lady said I can't explain it, but some celebrities are better on the TTS voice versus how they would be on AI voice. It's not just that Perry believes things that aren't true that's hilarious. He also doesn't believe things that are true. Like he always has to be wrong. Yeah, it's great. Like I love it too when he calls us stupid or calls me stupid. You are one dumb son of a bitch. Whatever happened to the Rosie O'Donnell voice? We never had it. We never had one. Maybe. Howard Stern's voice? Maybe. It's low. It's low down. It's low down on the list because it just did. Like I don't think he's relevant anymore, and also there's better people. Like tonight, who did he say? There's somebody tonight I actually wrote down a name. Casey Kasem, was in one of the media shares, and I thought Casey Kasem would be a great voice. Top 40 Casey Kasem. Hey Perry, this is Casey Kasem. I'd like to tell you, whatever the thing is. I gotta adjust this camera again. Norm is the best of all time. No arguments for me. Nobody better. I can't even see stand-up comedy anymore. I would always see Norm whenever he came around, and it was always a little different, and he was just the fucking best. Just effortless. Just the best. Between him and Gilbert Gottfried, those were my two favorite, and I just, things are just not the fucking same. Sorry for my swearing. Try not to swear. Carl is, you would know because he's a fellow Aussie. Carl is a pathetic beta. I'm ashamed he's Australian. Yeah, he definitely comes off that way now. He's honestly, if I were Carl, I would just get the F off the... There's some people who, whether they're YouTube personalities or streamers, whatever, they just get body slammed so hard that it's just all right, dude, it's time to call it. Just get off the internet. There's no recovering from this. There's no recovering. Yeah, I don't think there's any recovering. I mean, he could do all the... speed running videos he wants, but all anyone's gonna I'm sure his whole comment section is loaded up with Billy One and all that stuff. So I kind of agree with that, and I used to like his videos. and after and when I heard Billy's side of it, not that Billy's a hero or anything like that, but man, it just looks really bad. I had an idea for AI Kimmel has Leno on, and they talk shit about Perry's car. Leno was going to tell people to spin on it, give it out there. That's actually really funny, with Leno being the car guy. I like the Leno part more than the Kimmel part. Yeah, Norm was my favorite comedian too. There's a great YouTube page that has a ton of Norm stand-up. It's I forget the name of it, but if you just type it in, it's like Norm stand-up from like everything. And I actually want to contact the guy because I have some Norm stand-up that I recorded myself. When I would go to see Norm, I would record the show just so I can remember it and hear it. And not always. And I would never like put it out there when he's alive. And now that he's gone, because I know a couple of them he doesn't have, and I was like, hey, just take this and put it on your thing. Yeah, Norm was the best. There's nobody that I like Shane Gillis. I think he's really funny, but nobody like Norm. And I'm glad that Norm post-death has really, a lot of people have come around on Norm, like, and just outwardly just said how brilliant he was. I went to high school with Jehovah's Witness. He wasn't allowed to celebrate his birthday, but his mom was cool with us having ketamine at his house. Yeah, I was friends with somebody who, it was weird. It was a weird dynamic. They celebrated, but their stepmom was like, and they were older, like, so, like, it was high school, and the dad had remarried, like, but they were much older, and their stepmom was a Jehovah's Witness, and they still celebrated Halloween and their birthdays and everything like that, but she was clearly against it. And it was a weird dynamic. Like, we'd go over there and we'd kind of like almost bust her balls a little bit. Like, oh, what are you going to be for? Are you going to give out candy on Halloween? And she was actually very nice lady. But it was weird. And then I knew Jehovah's Witnesses on my street in Brooklyn growing up. There was one family. It was just very different. I was born into Jehovah cult and was indoctrinated to Catholicism in high school. Left that joint. Satanic charity after high school. Left 5 years ago. Now I'm 31, 32, and I don't follow religion. Well, that's probably the best bet for you. You had a couple of strikes. Kumia voice, yeah, Kumia's on other streamers. Like, a lot of people use Kumia, and Kumia's not that big part of our life. I really miss Al Roker. Oh, maybe we'll put Al Roker back for Weather Matters. Because that's what Al Roker was always meant to be. He was just meant to be a Weather Matters voice. And then it kind of went crazy. The fact that JW has guilted Perry into changing things about his life, then rejected him anyway, makes me dislike that cult even more. I drive past it. Yeah, I know. They're garbage people. They really are. I don't really like to shit on other people's religion, at all. Like, I'll never, like, I almost admire people who are deeply religious. You have something, but not Jehovah's Witnesses. They're garbage. You can't even call them a religion. The fact that they get tax breaks is ridiculous, because it's just made up hogwash, and it's all about control and manipulation, and they're just horrible people. And when Perry first started PCL, and he, and I think Perry likes having stuff to do, and I think that's, Perry would always go to these stupid, what do they call them, meetings or whatever. It's very early, so my brain's a little fried, but they have a name for them. I am going to the Kingdom Hall for our meeting, or, they always have these gatherings, whatever. So we do that every Thursday, and it gave him something to do. He likes having something to do. He likes getting out of the apartment and having something to do. It was like, but when he started PCL, like the early days, and, and it was like, I don't need to regurgitate what was going on at the time. Perry was in fucking bad shape financially, and was really needed this. And they wanted him to stop, and he had an ultimatum, and they weren't gonna like pay him or anything like that, but it was like, Perry had a choice of either like live and pay and get an income and pay your bills, and somehow crawl out of this debt that you're in, or leave these fucking charlatans. And it was a big Herculean task to get him away. And there's a moral thing in there too. Like, you know, as far as I'm concerned, like, you know, I feel bad. Like, I don't want to like literally pull him away from a religion that he's going. But listen, somebody's got to go. It's not going to be, there's either, door number one, you're able to pay your bills and hopefully start saving money and crawl out of this fucking situation you're in. Door number two is stay in the cult and, until the fucking marshal comes to your door and kicks you out. Very easy choice for a normal person, but for Perry, it's tough. And that's why, the fact that he left of his own free will was sort of a miracle. And that's years ago now, and it's in the rearview mirror, but it was a very real thing. And I say that, Perry's like, with the money he makes, shifting position, the money he makes here on PCL, it's good. Like, he has his spending money, whatever, but he also has multiple retirement accounts. Because, you got to think, like Perry, me personally, I have Perry till death do us part. It's like when PCL's not going to end, and I'm going to be like, okay, Perry, good luck. We're not going to, we're not doing anything anymore. I got to make sure, to be very honest with you, one of the retirement accounts, and I set this up with his cousin, Mark, is for a future, it's funny how like the senior living facility gags come up, but that's what his future is, that's what anybody's future is, because all his family's older. They're all going to pass before him. And, I'm not going to be able to keep him, so, and those places are expensive. So he's got to have, the bulk of his income from PCL is for future Perry, and it makes sense because, I can't take care of future Perry. I can barely take care of myself. I can take care of myself. I do okay in my job and everything like that. But, I can't, let's say PCL ends in a year or two or whatever. I have to make sure he's provided for into as much into the future as possible. So, he has one retirement account, which is, pretty much like a 401k, but then he has another account that's for his, future care facility. Okay. Because I can't take him in, I'm going to be however old. So I have to think about that stuff. It's stuff that most people wouldn't think about, but you got to think about future Perry and how's future Perry going to survive and everything like that. So that's why I'm super, super conservative with, how things are managed there. And his cousin does a really good job, but his cousin's not going to live forever either. And I don't know what I'm going to do if something ever happens to him. That's probably a little too much inside baseball than you were looking for. But that's the way it is. That's reality, unfortunately. We all time is coming for us all one day, and it's going to come for Perry before it comes for me, I think, by law of averages. And I need to be prepared for that because I'm never putting myself in the situation that I was in pre-PCL, which is where basically facing bankruptcy, paying his bills, and keeping him alive. If we had a politician voices, it would just be spam with politically obsessed people trying to dunk on other. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And we don't do politics at PCL. Sometimes they slip in a little bit here and there for the sake of humor. And I think it's always funny when Perry talks about how he's such good friends with the Trumps, but that's as far as it goes. There's other places to go for divisive politics. I like to think that we all get along here, no matter if you're left, right, in the middle, or nowhere, or you don't care, or you're apolitical, or whatever. I really don't want to make PCL a political place. So it's where we can all come together and just laugh. There's so many other places you can go for that. You go, get your news wherever you get your news. I'm sure there's political podcasts on both sides that you can get your fuel from. You don't want it. You don't want it here. And I really don't think politics and comedy mix. I think we're up for our first pee break. Oh, that's not nice. Perry came to Australia, I'll show him true Aussie hospitality. I would personally love to go to Australia. I fucking love Australia. I love the concept of it. You have a beautiful country, from what I've seen. By the way, I've never been there. I'd love to go to Australia. I'd love to do a PCL thing in Australia. I don't know if it'll happen. Hey, first, we're driving around everywhere we need in Perry, Sydney, Australia. Trust me, you'll love it there. I guarantee we would. I'm a huge fan. We have such a huge audience in Australia. Kind of sad, but when Norm was alive, he didn't like fan channels that valid reason. There was a lot of people discovered him on YouTube. Yeah, I know. I don't think he understood the concept of it. But now, post life, it's cool that it's still, it's still, I don't know. I can't form words anymore. I'm sorry. I'll do this a little bit more and then we gotta go. Oh, Moody's in the chat. This is the guy behind Superchat. This is the main dude. This is him. Perry's feet are so filthy. Does he ever get his floors clean? We'll ask him. Moody is his nickname. He's been really good with me because I'm such a pain in the ass, and I'm always asking for this and that and the other thing and features for the Super Tip, which he created along with Patrick Melton, and he's always been really cool about getting us voices and getting it right and all that stuff. So kudos to Moody. So yeah, all Super Tip questions should be diverted to him because he'll have the definitive answer, including what happened to Al Roker. I'm gonna hit the alarm soon. I gotta wait. I knew. You guys like some that one comment about the bait. Tom, you said you were gonna do a sleep stream and now you're pulling it away. That really got to me, and I was like, all right, we'll do a little sleep stream. Now here we are, an hour in. God damn. Yeah, that's it. They're just, there's a whole documentary they did, that Leah Remini show that was about Scientology. They did a special on Jehovah's Witness that I made Perry watch, and it was shocking the stories they had about it. It was so sad, like family members that there was this one dad that was so entrenched in it, and his son left and was happy, and his son would try to visit him, and then the dad would deliberately drive by the house and waiting for the son to leave. Just can't imagine that. I'm lucky where I'm really close to my family. Always had a great relationship with my parents, great relationship with my sisters. I feel so bad. Even like Perry and his garbage fucking brothers. Some people are just born into shit, and I feel sorry for people. When he retires, I'd be down for a once a year special PCL stream from the nursing home. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he can remember. We'll see how long Perry can remember his name. Who are you again? It might get really sad. I'd like to wrap PCL before it gets that bad. But I think we got a long stretch before that. But that's down the road. That's why we do this. That's PCL. Some people say, why isn't Pete Perry in a bigger house? Well, first of all, he refuses to move. But, the bulk of his income goes to future Perry. Like I said, his cousin Mark's been really good with handling all that. Because I couldn't. I'm an idiot. I'm not an idiot, but I've learned a lot over the years. But I have been an idiot. No chance of his daughter looking after him. I doubt it. I don't know, Greg. I don't know. Maybe, but there's no sign of that, so I can't count on that. I can't count on that. And I can't have it on my conscience that Perry is, not being taken care of. No, he can't hear me. I'd have to hit this here for him to hear me. No. And I turned off his connection on the computer. And if he could hear me, he would have turned this off an hour ago. Church, sorry, I'm super into politics, but it does not belong anywhere in PCL. Even if you're into it, hardcore into it, it doesn't belong. Sports doesn't belong here either. or economic. It's just there's you got to compartmentalize your passions. It doesn't blend. It's just there's a time and place for it. It's not here, and it just wouldn't go. It's like because people come here and you could just tell, like, there's so many people that just have hardcore opinions about one or the other. We're never gonna all get along, and it's just we get along now. Why ruin it with politics? I like the old days where it was like impolite to ask who somebody voted for. Perry would get sunburn on day one of Australia. I've heard that about Australia. I don't know. I personally would like to go to New Zealand first and then Australia. I have a good friend, one of my best friends in New York, moved to Wellington like 15, almost longer than that now. Loves it, and it's such a long fucking flight, but I'd like to do it at some point. People who Americans that I know that have visited New Zealand have said it's like a magic place. Like they just they can't believe that it exists. You don't get things you don't ask for. You're pushing us in good ways. We'll be releasing more stuff soon. Sorry it's been slow. No, I understand. You guys work really hard. Super tip stuff. I think I take pride in saying that I think we've asked for stuff that have made the system better. Like, for example, I know there was some resistance at first when we first started with Super Tip. I wanted let's say you have any celebrity, like Wilford Brimley, for example. I wanted the name to come up as Wilford Brimley and not as the person that sent it in as Wilford Brimley, because that ruins the illusion, because Perry's the only person on Super Tip who actually thinks it's the person. And I don't think I communicated that well, or I know Patrick didn't like that at all. Like, he was like, no, we can't do that, not happening. But I like having it now, and I also like turning off the price, because then it just makes it like oh, Wilford Brimley paid whatever, and I think people in our audience have understood that, and so I don't know if I'm making this sound right, but anyway, I think that's a good system, and I think there's other, there's things that work for us that probably don't work for other streamers, and vice versa. But I think we're unique. I think PCL is unique in how I think we've used, and I'm not to sound arrogant, but I think we've used Super Tip more creatively than anybody else, because everybody else is like, oh, ha ha ha, Wilford Brimley's writing it, but Perry's like, you son of a bitch, you piece of shit. I love that. It's just great. That's why I'm such a stickler for the voices have to sound good, because we've done a couple of tests on, like, we had like a _𝙊𝙃 and it just doesn't, for whatever reason, it just the AI algorithm just doesn't work with their voice. Or like Gilbert Gottfried, it just didn't sound good. Just couldn't use it. It's got to at least convince Perry. Like this Fran Drescher, like that voice, like it's good enough for Perry. It's not quite good enough for me, but it's not supposed to fool me. It's supposed to fool Perry. Dude, I just woke up for work. You woke up for work? I felt like you were here the whole time. Will Perry be attending the LA Pride Parade? Oh, we're going to make that happen. Moody, we speak. Yeah. Moody's a fucking hard worker. Like, Moody's another guy. He has a real job. He podcasts. He works on the Super Tip system. It's fucking great. And you know what? I guarantee you there's going to be other platforms that try to copy what they've done. I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand why more people, I mean, maybe I do understand why more people don't use it, because it's probably a closed system, but YouTube, you're getting literally, I was going to say R-worded, but you're getting plowed using YouTube. Takes 30% off the top of every bullshit thing. Super Tip takes 10%. If you're a creator, you're an idiot not to use it. Sorry to use such strong words. Time for work, great shit. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up. I'm really gonna wrap up now. I'm gonna hit this alarm. I promise. I think we got another 5 years before we got to worry about Perry. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's dopey enough. He's definitely getting dopier over 5 years. I think 5 years is right. Like originally, we started PCL. I said I'd like to go 5 years, and here we are at 5 years. So I'd like to go another 5 years, and then we'll see where we stand in 5 years, or maybe it ends abruptly. Maybe I get hit by a car or something. Maybe Perry breaks his neck while snowboarding. But we all love Perry. Yeah, I absolutely will. And you'd have to go to Auckland because I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I fly from New York, you got to change in Auckland to go to Wellington. So yeah, I would absolutely do that. And same for you if you're in New York. Let me know when you're in New York, and we'll do the beer in New York. But I think the beer would be better in Auckland. Yeah, I think there's a direct flight. I think there's some airline that does direct to New Zealand now. I think it might be Qantas. I don't know. I did see that there. One of the other YouTube thing. I have the weirdest YouTube algorithm. One of them is like flights, just things on like flight disasters or like plane flight plans. Like what's the longest flight plan leaving from, let's say, New York, and how it flights. You know, how it flights, how it tracks it. Yeah, I gotta wrap it up here because I'm fucking barely audible. Direct Auckland to New York, 19 hours, Air New Zealand. Goddamn. But you got to do business class with that, right? Because that's what I save up all my credit card miles for. Is like an eventual. I have to go to a wedding next summer in Europe, and I'm saving. You know, I'm gonna do my points, and I'm gonna be a little bougie. I'm gonna do business class at least. There's no way you did coach with that. Honestly, PCL should have thousands more views. I feel bad for those who aren't going to find out about before Perry retires. There will never be another stream like it. There's only one Perry. I agree. There's only one Perry, and it's not me. Like, I have nothing to do with this. I'm just the facilitator. It's Perry. Perry's 100% of the draw. And you know, I always say this. Like, people are going to find PCL after it's finished, and they're going to find like old videos, and we're like, oh my god, I can't believe this was a thing. I wish I would have been a part of this when it was live. Oh my God, people were able to write in Perry and he reacted and he screamed at them and he gave them the finger. Oh, imagine if I can go back in time and submit a comment to Perry. It's going to be one of those things. I'm not saying it's ever, PCL is never going to be like one of these things where it's like 100,000 subscribers. That's never going to happen. But I think more people will discover it after the fact, and they'll just be like, oh, God damn. I wish I was a part of it. Yes, that's what I'm waiting for. I have a bank of voices that I've made myself. Like Richard Simmons and a bunch of. I'm focusing on. My main focus is on celebrities that have passed away, but Perry thinks they're alive. I like that little wheelhouse, like your Sean Connery's. Richard Simmons, Wilford Brimley, of course, and then like maybe nonsensical ones. But yeah, thank you. I cannot wait for that to come out. And I don't know. I think if you guys ever want to sell the system, I think you'd be doing good for yourself. Just flying. No, Perry's a great flyer, and he doesn't really prepare. He doesn't have headphones. He'll stare at the fucking seat back for 6 hours. Like honestly, maybe he'll watch the movie that's on the TV. I got this thing on Amazon. I'm gonna give this a little plug. So it's a great thing. Yeah, 𝙎𝙃 would be a good idea too. It's this. It was developed by a flight attendant, and it just attaches to the tray table, and it's just this rubber mat that's very foldable and bendable, and it can hold your tablet or your phone, and you just like watch straight ahead. It was like $12. It was like the best flight little device I've ever had. So that's cool. Thanks for being awesome, Tom. Oh, you're welcome. Not that I'm awesome. Australian Bob Levy song. Yeah, what was the deal with, if you're still watching, what was the deal with the Australian Bob Levy? I've noticed a couple of other voices veer Australian too. And I don't know if that's just the system or that it's like, this, I don't know. In 5 years, his mashed potato brain will turn to sand. Yeah, I know, it's going to be a sad day. All right. If you're in Australia, Tom, let me know as well. Yeah, I'd love to meet up with some Australian PCL fans. Hopefully with the whole PCL gang. I don't know. I know it's a lot to ask for. I slept and woke up and you're still on. Yeah, this happens once in a blue moon. This probably won't happen for a while. We're edging on 12 hours now. Air New Zealand, American Airlines, United Airlines. Yeah, I've learned too as a traveler, I used to have all my eggs in one basket. Like I used to be loyal to Delta, and I don't think it's worth it anymore. I think you got to diversify with airlines and hotels. Premium economy is good enough, just something that lets you put your legs up. Yeah, you got to have that extra space. I can't imagine being in regular coach, but I like to, I don't know, 19 hours. But you know what I do? I have a Samsung tablet that I only use for when I fly. And I just use it because I can just download movies or TV shows and just load them on and just watch one after the other and forget that I'm on a plane for however long it is. Oh, here we're going to have a PCL convention. We'll do something. It's tough. It's tough to set up these events. It's really fucking hard to put your own event together. And like I've said many times, it's hard to do production and creative at the same time because one always suffers. But we'll do something. I guarantee you we'll do something. We don't necessarily play well with others. We did the Pottstown thing, and that was fine, but you wouldn't make a habit out of that. King Control, Tom B, you're part of the draw too. Thank you for saying that. I don't even like old big three stuff because nothing beats the dynamic of you two. I very much appreciate you saying that. I do think sometimes Perry and I have a really good dynamic. I thought Bob, myself, and Perry really clicked on Thursday. I was actually really proud of that stream, and I know Bob was too. And I made sure to talk to him the next day. So once in a while, there's moments like that. But overall, people are tuning in for Perry. I made 3 free watch when you see. One got it. One is dead set that Perry is acting. Well, those are the people that you got to say to. If Perry's acting, he's the best actor that ever lived. Ever lived. Without question. He's better than anybody. Gotta readjust this thing. All right, this is fucking it. I gotta fucking go. Because people, I just heard Teddy get up. I gotta now get kids ready for school. That's where we are. Some voices just skew that way. If you think about it, Bob has an Australian soul with the blue cheese cigarettes and allergy. I think Bob's voice just doesn't. There's some voices I've noticed that just don't blend well with AI. AI is never going to get it, no matter what. I think it's what PCL was my introduction to Perry, and I saw when you see after nothing cracks me up like Tommy and Perry going back and forth. Okay, that's nice. Okay, I think it's time to call it a night. I'm gonna say thank you to everybody, all the maniacs. If there's any maniacs that lasted all 12 hours, I don't know what to say. Seek help, and thank you for your loyalty, thank you for your support, thanks for making this guy's birthday special. He doesn't realize it now, but it did make it special, and you know, like I said, we're all here in support of Perry in some way or another. Whether you like it or not, you're supporting future Perry, and for Perry to lead a good life. Perry deserves to lead a good life, no matter what you think about him. Perry was handed the worst deck of cards you could possibly imagine in life. Horrible family. And really, this is the thing that he's best at. And I just want to see him, you know, live, you know, comfortably for the rest of his life. And that takes some effort. And I couldn't do that without you guys. We couldn't do it without you guys. I had an idea where Bruce Willis takes bee pollen and magnesium supplements and goes full flowers for Algernon. It'd be nice. Oh, I got a question one last question from Moody. So, I don't know how familiar you are, but Bruce Willis comes on the stream, and he types in tip comments, and he only talk, you know, because Bruce has this problem. I forget what his problem is called, but he has this problem where he talks like moop, meep, bop, you know, he only like, you know, and Perry, like, he's like, oh, Bruce, you poor guy, you know. Would it be possible to get a voice that's, let's say, Bruce Willis, but it only, no matter what the person writes, it only comes out as moop, beep, bop, or chingy, dingy, you know, words that we program? Probably not, as I'm saying it. Aphasia, yeah. So, like, our version of Bruce Willis, the PCL version, comes on the TTS comments, and he's like, hey, Perry, moopy, chingy, dingy, bingy, you know, because he can't form words. So would it be, is there a way to do a voice where like a person could type in whatever, but it'll still come in like moopy, chingy? That would be funny, because I don't want to hear Bruce Willis talk about sucking dick. Like, that's one of my main things. Like, with certain voices, I'm like, this voice is gonna go gay really fast. But yeah, like, just like restrict the voice to only say certain words that we program in. Is that possible? I can look in the crowd. See, this is why you love this guy. He's gonna look into it. That would be amazing. Like, if it, like, you know, have him say Perry, but we want him, like, yeah, this is how he talks. Moop, chingy, poopy dingy, you know, that kind of thing. That would be amazing. Because I don't want to have him speak real sentences, because that would ruin it. Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Yeah, I have a Hulk Hogan template, but I don't know if it's gonna work. I know Bob has a Hulk Hogan, but that's like a little too modern Hulk Hogan. I want like an '80s Hulk Hogan. But you can't do too many of like the, you know, fast talking. It's a whole fucking thing. Like the AI, what it picks up on. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, team. Thank you. I think the team is gone, by the way. Anyway, I'm going to hit this goddamn alarm. As I was saying, thanks, everybody. Jim from Taxi would go, well, that's a character, and Perry knows that's a character, so I don't think that would work. It's alarm time, everybody. It's alarm time. You know what time it is. Let's get it ready. We're going to hit the alarm, and Perry's going to react one or two ways. And I'm going to say thank you. I love everybody. I'm not going to love everybody later when I wake up, and I'm really fucked over today. But thankfully, again, week before Thanksgiving, late schedule. Okay, my family's officially up right now, so they're probably like, what the fuck is he still doing this stream for? What are we doing? Okay. All right, let's see how we do. Once this goes activate, he's gonna hear it. All right, ready? Here we go.
Fuck off, fuckface.
I'm sorry, Perry. I don't know how that went on. That was a mistake. You can go back to bed. That was a mistake. What were you dreaming about? Did we interrupt a dream? Well, we'll wait to hear. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate that, Mr. Joshua. You're also great in Lethal Weapon. Thank you. Yes, I might hit it one more time because there was another thing, but I think the point was made. Perry, can you hear me at all? You know what's funny? If we go another, what's the YouTube? I think the YouTube cutoff is like 12 hours. We better stop because I think YouTube stops like archiving after a certain point. Yeah, I'll hit I'll hit the second alarm the second he leaves now. Harry, what were you dreaming about right now?
I don't know.
Hot babes?
Oh, sleeping.
What's the deal with your socks? Why do you sleep? Oh, never mind.
Clothes. Leave me alone.
All right, one more alarm and then we'll go. Thank you, Mr. Josh. Appreciate that.
You fucking wake me again? I'm getting my car fixed tomorrow.
Oh, what a threat. What a threat. What a threat. I love his threats.
Fucking asshole. If you wake me the fuck up again, the car gets fixed
You keep talking.
tomorrow.
I mean, you're keeping yourself up at this point. Well, only because I keep pushing him off about it because I like keeping him heated about it. Just, you know, he has to do his smog test. He's got to get it done by January, whatever. And that's fine. Whatever. He's going to do it eventually. But I keep kind of behind the scenes. I'm kind of putting him off to it where I'm just like,
light off.
Oh, I know a guy. Don't do it. I know a guy that's going to do it cheap, whatever. It'd be really easy. And I just want to get him to the point where it gets to December and he's getting really stressed about it just because it's going to be funny. You know, he's going to do his car eventually. But, you know, I want to make him sweat it a little bit. Thank you, T-Bone. Thanks for the great stream. Making Monday much better. And Tuesday, by the way, don't forget Tuesday. Much love to Tom B and the PCL team. Much love to you as well. No worries of that. That'll never happen. Good morning, Tony. We're still going.
Turn those fucking lights off.
I'm gonna hit it and sink or swim. We're gonna say goodbye. Okay? I'm gonna hit it right now. All right, we ready? We're gonna do one more time. One more time. I'm gonna say goodnight now. And thanks everybody. I really appreciate it. We haven't done one of these in a long time. We're overdue. This is a good time to do it. Stars aligned. Thank you everybody. Thanks for the people that really get PCL. Love you guys. PCL for life. Thanks for hanging out. Tell your friends. Like the video. We'll see what happens with us when we sign off. Maybe YouTube will. I don't know. We've gone over the usual time that YouTube allows videos. So here we go. All right. On 3, 2, 1. Well, we knew that was going to happen. So, good night, good morning, good day, good life, as Perry would say. And we'll see you maybe. I don't know. We went really long. I don't know if I could promise Wednesday anymore. I know I said we might do a Weather Matters. Chances that are unlikely, but you never know. Who knows? We'll definitely be here on Thursday. And then Saturday, Perry's on Levyverse, and then next Monday, of course, and then we're off the rest for Thanksgiving week. And thanks, everybody. I know it's at this time of day, it's all Australians, which I kind of love, and people getting ready for work. All right, so take care, everybody. Love you guys. Thanks, Greg, one of our all-time great Australian fans. Thank you, Greg, and we'll see you next time.